Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the webinar. This is our new features webinar for July 30th. My name is Andrew Triplett. I am the Director of Consulting here at Touchpoint. And joining me today, two of my colleagues will be presenting with me. First is Chris Dolan, and the other is Haley Whitworth, fresh off of maternity leave. She is back to join us for this webinar. So Chris and Haley, you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Yeah, as Andrew said, I am Chris Dolan. I oversee product and strategy at Touchpoint. I'm excited to be showing off some of these new features with Andrew and Haley. And welcome back, Haley. We're excited to have you back.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back. And as they said, my name is Haley. I'm the Director of Training.
All right. So agenda. We have a lot to get to today. We're really excited about some of these enhancements, all of these enhancements really, but we are excited to show you everything that we've been up to for the last month. We're going to start with some SMS enhancements, and then mobile email builder, search builder changes. Some of you may have already seen those. That one is out and live, and so we'll talk through some of the changes to the search builder. Business entity profile, that is a request that we have seen a lot, and so that's one of our most highly requested things. We're excited to bring that to you. Some extra value changes, new did not meet feature, and then finally on the mobile app, deep linking. And then the big one, we're going to be walking you through giving, show and tell, our new giving feature. And so stick around for the end because you will want to see that. And then finally, we'll wrap things up with, of course, a roadmap update. We'll talk about Summit, and then of course Q&A. We do have a lot to get to today, so we will try to get to some Q&A at the end. Speaking of Q&A, quick housekeeping. We'd love to hear from you. We will answer as many questions as we can. If you will just click the Q&A box in the Zoom console there, you'll be able to submit questions, and we will answer those towards the end of our presentation. So diving right in, SMS enhancements. Haley, you want to speak to this?
Yes. In case you missed our webinar on two-way texting, we have some exciting new features for SMS. First, we can now schedule text messages. So as we see in the screenshot, it works very similarly to scheduling an email. And a few other enhancements worth mentioning as well. Text messages now support special links. So also down there on the right-hand side of that screenshot, you see a button to insert a special link. So you can include a link, for instance, to or for a registration to your recipients as well. Any URL that includes the protocol such as HTTP or HTTPS will automatically be shortened once the text is sent. And lastly, we now have a blue toolbar on our SMS messages page. So that's our text messages managing and tracking page. And so that gives us the ability to send a text, to send an email from that page, to export to Excel, to add those people to a tag as well. For more information on these, check out our blog. You'll see a post for replaying the webinar in case you missed it. And then there's a separate post as well that describes each of these features, and it links to the documentation. I'm going to turn it over to Chris now so he can tell us about mobile email builder.
Sorry, I was on mute there for a minute. There's two enhancements that we're really excited to share with you. Thank you everybody for the great feedback on mobile, the mobile email builder. Seems like you all are really enjoying that, which is awesome. There were two really requested features, so we're excited to be sharing those with you today, and you probably saw that in the blog. I think they launched last week. So the first one is the ability to upload a file. So many people will use this to share resources, maybe leaders guides, things like that. And now in the upper right-hand corner, you have the button to upload a file, and it will give you the URL that then you link in the email to a button or to text or whatever you want that link to go to. So that's the first one. And the second one that we're excited to share is lots of people have been going and creating beautiful email templates. And on the email template page now, when you click into the email, you now have the ability to clone an email. This is really powerful if your communications team spends a lot of time optimizing and perfecting that email with all of your social media links in the footer, all the beautiful branding and image to match your church, which is really easy to do. Now you can just copy that, and you can make a few changes to make that email something just for a specific ministry or for a specific event that you have going on. So We're excited to be launching those 2 features, and I'll turn it back over to Andrew.
All right, Search Builder update. Haley, you want to talk through this?
Sure. So this small improvement is one that I am especially excited about. Search Builder uses now more common everyday language instead of developer speak, so to say, for the search conditions. So as you can see, this is a very simple search. With the new naming convention, the Scratchpad includes very clear, easy to read verbiage for our conditions. Andrew, if you don't mind, will you go to the ministry category? And just so we can have a look at what some of the lengthier search builder conditions look like now. So if you want to even just click on the top one there, has the task with name. So we can see it is a much simpler view. For those of you who've been using search builder for a while, this is something that you will probably appreciate very much as well. And now Andrew is going to be talking to us about business and entity profiles.
Yes. So really excited about this enhancement. This is, again, something that has been requested quite a lot. So we are really excited to now have this up and running. So what this is going to do, this is a business rather than a people record. So a business record rather than a people record. It's going to have business specific fields, and then you'll also be able to toggle it between a business entity and an individual. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So for example, here I have the Harris Foundation. So I've already created this entity, but let's take a look at what that process looks like. I go to people and then add person. Once I add that person, I'm going to be able to see only fields that pertain to a people record. There we go, add person. We'll skip the search for now. So just like I would add any individual, but up here on the top right, I have a checkbox for adding the business or entity. All of the fields that don't make sense for business or entity fall away, so I'm only entering that information. So people have been doing this for some time. Whenever you have a business and you need to associate contributions to it, people have been using people records for that in the past. So no longer will you need to do that. You can now associate the contributions to the business itself. Further, you can also tie the foundation back to an individual. So for example, on your screen here, I'm showing the Harris Foundation, but we need to make sure that we don't lose track of the fact that the Harris Foundation is tied to the Harris family. So we will continue to do that using the add related family. And I'm going to search for Joe Harris. Partial search returns Joe. Commit and add. And now I can indicate Joe leads the Harris Foundation, or he is the owner and operator of the Harris Foundation, so that we're constantly tracking those relationships between the individual back to the foundation. And then finally, up here on the top right, let's say that we have a foundation that, for whatever reason, should have been an individual. You do have the ability to toggle that. So if I go to the gear icon, then I can toggle that within the gear icon. And then it also goes the other way if I have an individual that needs to be a foundation, which many of you probably have right now. You can toggle that back to a foundation, or excuse me, to a business. All right. Next on my list here is extra value enhancements. All right, so this is a really, really cool enhancement because extra values are very, very powerful. For anyone on the call that doesn't know what an extra value is, this is an opportunity for you if there's something that Touchpoint doesn't track inherently by default, like a phone number or email address that you want to track, you can use an extra value. Well, what some of you may not know is that extra values exist in multiple areas within the people record. So obviously I can go to profile, extra values, and see my extra values there, but they also exist on the member tab at the bottom under extra membership data. You do have the ability to change that label if you want to. And extra values also exist on an entry page, okay? So now if I have, say, an extra value that's in the wrong place, in the past, you would actually have to go edit an XML file to modify that. Now you can do it from the edit button. Once that screen comes up, I can show you also from the screenshot. Here we go. So edit. So now from the edit column, I can change the location of that extra value. So I can move it to the member tab or the entry tab. Okay? Additionally, we have the text toggle, so you can easily toggle if you have an extra value that is currently text, but it needs to be multi-line text. I just click here, and it changes that to multi-line text. And then I can also sort from here as well using simple drag and drop functionality. Okay. All right. Next, did not meet Haley.
Yes, we are excited to now offer a new attendance feature that allows you or your class leaders to indicate that there was no meeting for that regularly scheduled time. So now once we click the link from the email reminder, from the attendance reminder email, we have the option to indicate that the class, for example, did not meet. And you can see what it looks like right here in this screenshot. Andrew, I'll turn it right back over to you.
All right. All right. Deep linking from push notifications. All right, so we did a presentation on deep linking just a few weeks ago now. So if you didn't have a chance to take a look at that and what deep linking means, please go back and take a look at that. It is a super cool feature, but deep linking in broad strokes is simply a special type of link that guides an individual from say a web page or an email that I'm viewing on my phone screen to your mobile application. So a deep link is a great way to drive people to the mobile application, increase the amount of people who are using your mobile application. And now, typically those links are done from an email, or as Haley mentioned earlier, we have the ability to do that from a text message, but now you can also do it from a scheduled push notification. So, for anyone that has your app, you send a push notification, and maybe it's tax season and you want to drive people to see their giving history. Well, one of our deep links is right here, giving history, where they can go, they can see their giving history, and they can also download their contribution statement. Another potential example would be, we have a registration coming up. Churches are reopening across the country right now, and events are starting to happen again, and we want people to be able to register for those. So we send a push notification that says, please tap here to register for this, and then a deep link can guide straight from the push notification to the registration form through the mobile application. All right, giving show and tell.
All right, so this is the main portion of today's webinar. We're really excited to be showing off what we've been working on for several months now, and we've given a little bit of a glimpse with, I think we showed some mock-ups in one of our past webinars, but we're actually gonna show you the live product and talk through what's to come. So we're really excited to be sharing this with you. Before I jump into actually showing you, I wanna kind of give a broad overview of what we set out to do in this project and some of the features that we were hoping to add. So we wanted to combine one-time and recurring and pledging, make it really simple for the user, especially if somebody was making a one-time gift, then now it's really easy for them to convert that to a recurring gift. We want to support multiple stored payment methods. We wanted to bring the same frictionless login experience that we've recently rolled out on our mobile app to our giving pages. And I'll talk about this in the roadmap look ahead, that you're going to see that come to a lot of our other registrations and online forms and things as well. So we're excited about that. Donor covers fees, show pledging when giving. So if somebody has a pledge set up for that fund or at all, it would show that so that they can make the gift accordingly. There's the option for notes to be put on a one-time gift, and that's available to be set by fund. You can also optionally put an end date for recurring giving by fund. There's all brand new management pages, including we're now using email templates for confirmation emails. The beauty of that, and I'll show you that, is that now that means you can use a mobile responsive email builder. You can clone them. So if you create multiple giving pages, you can create multiple different templates and customize that for your different giving pages. And it's just a much easier way to manage your emails, and we'll show you some of that. And then there's some URL controls, which makes it really powerful in terms of guiding or steering people to different funds or different types of giving, like recurring or even setting kind of preset amounts that the user can adjust on their own, but you can put suggested amounts in there to start with. So we'll show you all this. And Andrew, why don't you start by showing us some of the new management functionality?
All right. So this is, of course, just a simple screenshot of the giving management. I'm going to get out of the presentation here to walk you through this, because some of the real magic of this page actually happens within these drop downs. So let's go to online giving setup. Now, Chris mentioned earlier, one of our big initiatives is kind of moving or reconfiguring some of the organizations and how they work. And in the past, online giving has all been done through organizations. We've now separated those. So no longer giving, it will now be handled on its own page. So if I go to administration, and then under manage, we have online giving setup, and that'll bring you to a list of the giving pages that you already are working with. So here they are. So here's all my different giving pages. I'm going to go to this one down here called Appling. And from here, I have the ability to modify and manage different fields. So of course, page name, giving types, as Chris mentioned, we now can have one page that allows you to submit a pledge, one-time gift, or recurring gift. But if, for example, our church isn't doing pledges, I can just simply remove that option, and then I can add it back if I want to. Setting in a default fund. Now, many of our churches have long lists of funds, so these drop downs are great because they're not just presenting a list of the funds, they actually allow you to type if you want to. So if I just type in GEN, that returns general operation. Over here on the right, fund options. Again, this is all of the different funds excuse me, that will display on your giving page. So if we have a long list, we can use that same typing functionality, DON, and I select downtown, and there we go, that's added to my list. And then here's the page URL that you'll be placing on your website to actually guide people to the page. And I also want to take a second to mention the email tab. So thinking back to the way online giving works now within an organization, this would be the equivalent of the messages tab. So from the messages tab, you set your online notify person, etc., your confirmation emails. Now we use this email tab. You can indicate your thank you message from here, the pledge confirmation email, the one-time confirmation email, and now these are pulling actually from templates. So I can select, say, the touchpoint template, and then that way you can reuse those. We talked about that earlier, the ability to clone those templates. So you can easily create one beautiful template that says, thank you for your one-time gift. Please click here to set up a recurring gift, or we encourage you to set up a recurring gift. And then you can clone that template to then create your recurring confirmation email, so that you're speaking with one voice. All of your templates have the same branding, have the same setup, have the same look and feel. Okay. All right, and now I think Chris.
One thing I'll mention, Andrew, while we're still on that page, is show them the email from. So this is replacing the online notifies person. So again, it's another thing where you can type the username in. This database only has 2 users that we could send from, but really easy to find and add somebody, and you can add multiple people. The other thing I wanted to mention with email templates is we have actually created some standard templates for each of these different giving emails that are necessary, and those will all be copied across everybody's database before this launches. So you have the ability to go in and edit those, add your own branding, change the language to make it sound like your church. So you can completely customize those, but we have some starting templates that we're going to release for everybody to use that we'll just copy onto everybody's database. And so I'm going to share my screen here and show you some of the front end of this now. So as Andrew said about managing this, all of this functionality is using the shells like all of our online registrations. And I just wanted to show you real quick. This is using kind of a standard touchpoint shell that we use for demos, but actually a shout out to Adam at HPUMC sent me over a new shell that he had created. So I'm going to show you how it works on there. It's so easy. I just uploaded that to special content and it's pulling all the special content that's tagged with shell. So I can just go in and select that, and I'll go ahead and hit save here. And then when I refresh this page, it's using that new shell. Oh, maybe it hasn't saved here yet. There we go, saved. Let me refresh, and it uses that new shell. So every church has the ability to make their giving pages look and feel exactly how you want. You can even go in, if you want to edit the shell CSS to even control things like the color of all these buttons. If you have a particular color or feel, it's completely up to you. And so you can see this, and I think everybody would agree, this is a beautiful shell, and I've seen some really great ones out there from other churches. So thanks for Adam for that. For the sake of this, I'm gonna go back to just the main shell here and show off a few of these things that we talked about. So just like before, and if you have pledges showing, it's only going to show the funds that are set in your fund management to allow pledges to be taken. So usually most churches don't allow all the funds that you can make a gift to be pledged to, so it's only going to show that. For one time, I mentioned that you have the ability to add a note per fund. So we have that set in this database as the Mercy Fund. So that might be one that you might want to add a note, and it gives a little option there. So it doesn't take up space, but if the user does want to click on that, then it adds this field and allows them to go and add a note. Very simply, very clean. The other thing I mentioned is on recurring giving. So let's go in here, and I'm going to make a $100 weekly gift, but I'm not going to make it to the Mercy Fund. I'm going to do it to, and actually, let me do bi-week or semi-monthly. See how it populates this with a sentence here and makes it really easy for you to go in and actually change the different dates, or change, by default, the first gift is going to process on today's date. That is a slight change. It used to process the first gift the next day. But if I select a fund that allows an end date, like for our building fund, for example, because maybe we're doing a campaign to raise funds over the next 3 years to pay for a new building. So we have the option then, and you'll see that that will pop up just on that fund, and I'll show you where to manage that. And ending, by default, it's going to be when canceled, but a user can select this and actually set an end date if they'd like for that fund. So each church can set those different things, and those are new fields on the fund management page. So you have the ability to add an end date. This is the one I showed you around pledges, which is something that had already exists, and you have the ability to add a note just by certain funds. So that's something if your church wants to use, they can. It's completely optional. So you can also see here that multiple payment methods are stored, and I want to actually go over here and show you somehow I got logged in. So I'm gonna sign out of here and show you a few other things. So I talked about URL controls. So if you want to encourage people to set up recurring giving, you can go in here to the URL, and there's going to be some really easy ways that you can do this in mass using our tool, and that will be showing in a future month that we have set up. It's just not part of this demo, where you can actually go and say, I want to default everybody to a weekly gift. And so you'll notice that then when that page loads, it now loads on recurring and weekly. Somebody can go and change that to one time, but it will default to that. I can even go into that URL and say the fund equals fund 8, because I'm doing a special campaign for the diaconate, and I want to encourage people to give to the diaconate. So that email that I send to them could link to this special page. And maybe the suggested starting gift that I want to put in there would be $100. And so you can use those 3 parameters to control that. And there's ways that you can do that in mass that I'll talk about later. But as I said, a user can easily go in and change that either up or down. If they want to make a smaller gift, they can change the fund as well. So let me go ahead and look like I'm making a $100 monthly gift to the diaconate. And so I'm going to go sign in here, and it's going to give me through the new login process. I can also get to there by hitting the next button, which, because I'm doing recurring giving, it's going to, it needs to know who I am. I will note, if you're making a one-time gift, you do have the ability to put that information in. You can even add an additional fund if you'd like, and then you can fill out this one-page form and hit submit the gift, and you don't have to log in at all. It will match up your gift on the back end. You do have the option to sign in on a one-time giving, but you don't have to, which makes it really easy for guests and first-time givers to go in and just make that gift. If you do sign in, it will show you your stored bank account or credit card information. And so that's what I want to show you here by logging in on recurring giving. So I'm going to hit next here, and it's going to pull up a field where it's going to ask me to enter my cell phone number. And I want to, before I do that, this is very similar to how the new login workflow works on mobile. Users do have the option to sign in with an email address, and you can also sign in with a username and password as well as an option. But this is really quick, really easy, and very secure way of doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that, and it sent me my code. Let me pull that up here. Oh, it was already there. 33589. And now I'm in, and it shows you that I'm logged in as Chris Dolan, and it shows that I have both a Bank of America joint account, that's the one I share with my wife Linda, and a Visa set up. Or I can choose to add a new payment method. I can edit and delete these old payment methods. So very robust, very clean. One thing I wanted to show you here, when you're adding a card, is if I type, it will actually know what type of card it is. And you notice that American Express actually formats their numbers different. So it will populate that different. It'll actually show you that you need a 4-digit security code instead of a 3. So if I do this as a Visa, for example, then it will format that the 4444 and give me the 3-digit security code. The other thing I wanted to point out is it does do all the autofill, and you'll notice when I'm doing that, really nice feature here is that, I'm not going to do this, but as I tab through these, so that you know what the field label is, that it moves up here to make it really clean and simple to see if you needed to go back and edit something. And we have a lot of, is it showing here? So what would you call this? Basically, like, really easy. If there is an error, an issue, or something missing, then we've made that very obvious and very clean for the user to be able to go and see what they need to do. So I think that was all I was going to show here. Although under special content, I think I was going to show you, yeah, you can copy those email templates. Oh, I just mentioned that. So I think I'm turning it back over to Andrew for the slide deck.
Yes, all right. So,
and I think the next thing is actually coming back to me to talk about some roadmap things. So as Andrew pulls this up, really excited to share a few things that are coming up that we're working on as well. So the first one of those, and we've talked about this, is that there are some new org types that are coming, as well as a whole rework of organizations. So part of moving online giving out from underneath organizations is going to allow us to do a lot of work that we've been wanting to do with organizations. And so the first thing you're going to see is a few new org types, but then we're also planning to change the user interface on this to only display the relevant fields and information related to that org type. So for example, if it's a mailing list type org or a managed subscriptions org, you don't need meetings and certain other management settings and things like that. And so this is going to get a whole new refresh this fall, and we're well underway on that and excited to be doing some really great things within organizations. The next thing I want to mention here, and I've kind of talked about this, this is true with the giving email templates, but it's also true with the new did not meet functionality. We're going to be releasing a new sample template for that, and it's going to be under your email templates. It will be assigned to a new role that we're going to be rolling out and assigning, I think, to all database administrators, called system email templates. And you'll be able to manage all of your system emails. The first one is the did not meet email and the confirmation emails, but then soon we're going to be supporting all of those confirmation emails and other system generated emails as email templates, which will allow you to use the email builder to make them mobile responsive and apply your branding beautifully and easily clone emails that you really like, and keep them organized and you know, optimized for your church. So a few other things that I'll mention here are we're working on tasks, contacts, and notes. We've gotten some really great feedback from churches in a little, what did we call it, a focus group that we did, and we're working on some changes for that. We're doing some work, that's going to be some of the foundational work for a process automator tool that is being scoped out right now as well and being worked on this fall, and many more things that I can't share today, but I'll be able to share more and more each month. So that's on the web side. On the mobile side, I have shared a lot of these things. Sermon Notes is in our internal beta, and we're testing that and very close to being able to release that to some external beta churches to be testing that, as well as content pages, which is the ability to host content within the portal instead of pushing out to your own app. And that is in beta and testing phase. We're starting on and getting underway on the self check-in. We already had a lot of work done on that. And translations is another big feature. These 4 things, as well as probably a few other small little tweaks here and there, are scheduled for an early fall release. And you'll hear more about those in upcoming webinars. And we're really excited about those enhancements to the mobile app. So yeah, I'll turn it over to Haley for some other announcements.
All right. So as you have probably heard, based off of the feedback that we have received from you, our partner churches, Summit will be a virtual event this year. We plan to reconvene in person in 2021 here in Memphis, but this year's event will take place virtually on Thursday, September 17th. We are working very hard to finalize our registration, our agenda, our Summit landing page, and we're aiming to have those available to you by next week. So be on the lookout for more information, including price, registration, our agenda around this year's Summit in the coming days. And as a reminder, these new features webinars occur monthly. Be sure to join us the last Thursday of each month, and we will include a link to our August webinar in next month's Touchpoint Minute. So we've got a few minutes where we can cover some questions. And I'm scrolling through here to see we've got a couple that have been submitted.
Yeah, I think, Haley, this one, people are asking about when some of these enhancements will come. So do you want to mention the ones that from the beginning, and I can talk about giving and what to expect on that?
Sure. So the SMS enhancements, those have already been rolled out. And so you can actually take advantage of those now. And the search builder enhancements also are currently live. We will be making a couple of updates as early as today or tomorrow that will be including what we hope to be including the business entity profile, the attendance reminder email, the did not meet, I should say, option in the attendance reminder email. Are there any that I
well, I have to check if this one went out this morning or if it's going out tomorrow morning. The extra values is going out, I believe, today or tomorrow as well. So, and the email builder enhancements are already live. So that should cover everything. You shouldn't need to, there's nothing you need to do to turn any of those on. Those will be live in your system. For the did not meet, there is a new template that will be copied over your database that you'll need to customize and test for your church. And I'm sure people are wondering, when are all these giving features being rolled out? So there are a few things on the list that I told you that are part of this project that I wasn't able to demo today that are in development right now, and that includes the donor covers fees and the footer where you can see the pledge information. So those are being wrapped up as we speak. And we have been doing a lot of internal testing, and we actually have some third-party companies that are doing security and penetration testing. So that is going to take several weeks, and we will have more update on timeline and rollout at our next new features webinar, but we are working to get this out as quickly as possible, as long as we make sure it's all functioning and working exactly the way you would expect and it to work, and as secure as it can be. So
I do want to mention, Matthew asked a really good question. There's a lot of things coming. Do we need to do anything to turn these on? As Chris said, no, you don't. These are turned on automatically for all of our customers. But since there are so many things coming, do be watching the touchpoint information widget on your home page. Look for that new tag on some of those. We will be blogging about each one of these, which will have help articles, things of that nature, so that you can find out what's been released and how they work, and if any action is required on your part to take them to congregation or take them to your users.
Now, one other person is asking about instructional videos. That's a great question. In fact, one of the very popular features that we released this, I guess it was early summer, was widgets. And I'm excited to announce that in the next Touchpoint Minute, we're going to be releasing some videos in the tips and tricks section to make it really easy for you to go in and customize those widgets. So you don't have to follow steps from a documentation, but you can actually see a live user on video and what they're doing with some tips in there for that you need to watch out for. And we're excited to be doing that. We will also continue to do these new feature webinars and webinars specific to big functionality. So when the new giving functionality releases, we will probably do several either training videos or webinars to show you how to get everything set up, as well as the migration process. There's some features, there's some settings that Andrew didn't mention or didn't go into depth on that we put in the database to make the migration to the new giving very easy for you, including redirect URLs that will come in. There'll be a field on all your old giving pages that when you flip the switch to turn this on, it will redirect the old giving pages to the new giving pages. There's new defaults of giving pages that we'll go into and explain how those work by campus. So if you have multiple campuses, you can set different defaults for different people to go to, as well as because we have, we're going to be supporting multiple payment methods. We will need to convert all of your and multiple recurring gifts. We're going to need to convert all of that data over to new tables, and we've made that seamless as possible for you, and we'll have details for how you can do that with just a push of a button. And so those are already in development and in testing, actually in testing right now. And so we're going to make sure that all the issues are ironed out on that, and it's a seamless transition for you to the new giving platform as possible. So.
And Chris, I just want to also add along the lines of instructional videos, another project that we are currently working on is updating our YouTube page. So we've got a lot of videos that are in the works right now. We're going to be really excited to be able to release that for you guys as well. So that will include a number of the new features as well.
Somebody's asking about the simplified login be available. So the simplified login is available in the mobile app, in all of the custom branded mobile apps. That will launch as part of the new giving feature. And then as we redo and re-release organizations, we are planning to bake that new login process, as well as some other things that we haven't shown you, into some of those new registration workflows. So it's all wired up and it's there in the giving. After we have done all the testing and QA and security checks that we need to do, that'll be live and available for all of our churches.
And Chris, do you mind sharing one more time, when is the new giving platform going to be released?
Yes, so we are wrapping up the final feature set of it right now, and we have been well underway actually for several weeks doing internal testing, and we have external testing scheduled to be starting soon. And we will have an updated timeline on that at our August new features webinar. And we're trying to get that out as quickly as possible, but it's hard to commit an exact date at this point, but we're very close. As you can see, we're very excited and proud about the way it's all coming together. So,
Are there any other questions? Still got a couple of minutes.
there are some very specific questions that look like they're coming in that we will answer kind of one-off via email with you all. Either they're specific to your church, or I'm not 100% sure the answer of some of them. So you maybe stumped Chris on this call, but we will make sure we get you answers to those questions.
Yeah, further testing required on a couple of these, so we will let you know.
All right, so why don't we wrap it up here, Haley, and if there are any other questions, you can feel free to email any of us, and we will be reaching out with answers to some of these very specific questions. But thank you very much for joining us today. And Haley, do you want to close us out?
Yeah, that's it. I think you've done just that, Chris. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next month.
Yeah, and watch out for the blog. When the things that haven't been released are released, there will be blog posts about them. So there should be a blog either towards the end of the day today or tomorrow when those things, if there are any of those things that we've mentioned today that have not been released yet. So thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everyone.